Welcome back. A state judge has temporarily blocked Mayor Zohran Mamdani's controversial pied-à-terre tax after homeowners sued over the program's rollout.
The Mamdani administration botched this rollout. This case is about following a proper process and only ensnaring people who actually owe the surcharge, not sending out to thousands of others and basically trying to entrap them into not following the city's deadlines and process to impose the surcharge on them.
The tax was supposed to target certain high-value second homes, but the city sent out 70,000 warning notices and put nearly 1 million properties on a public list, including homes that owners say are their primary residences. And now President Trump's weighing in. He says he's looking to see if the federal government has the legal right to stop the tax before it's too late. And I'm glad that Randy brought this suit. He was with plaintiffs who were erroneously put on the list, and they had to prove to the city that they were actually primary residents here. That burden should not fall on them. This is one of the problems with the rollout that I actually highlighted, Charlie, before they rolled it out, because I've had issues with primary residence status for other reasons here. And I said, this is going to be a total disaster. And if people don't meet their strict deadlines, first it was mid-August, then he made it September 18th. Still a cumbersome system for people to navigate that pay their city taxes here. I am glad they brought this suit in Staten Island.
Sounds like illegal.
It sounds illegal.
I mean,
it does.
You have to prove that you're not a criminal. I mean, it's like it turns the whole system, jurisprudence. Yes, that's the word.
That part sounds illegal, but what about the part of actually taxing you for your house?
That is not illegal.
Because that's the bigger issue.
That is not illegal.
They voted on it.
They voted on it, and that's it. The state approved it. But, one of the interesting things about this whole socialism aspect, from everything from Hassan Piker to El Said to Mamdani to anybody, AOC, is that they got a pass from the media for so long. Okay? Now their idiocy is being played by the media every day. And when you get a pass, when you build up confidence in your erroneous beliefs, you create something known as moral hazard. There's no consequence to your risk. Now, because of that, we're going to find out stuff about these people that you wouldn't believe. This is one of the dumbest rookie mistakes in the world, that you put everybody's name on a list.
On the list,
and then you say, prove us. I mean, he doesn't have a lawyer in City Hall saying, well,
you know who did that
Sounds
rookie mistake? In
ridiculous.
1933, the National Socialist Party of Germany.
Right.
They put names of rich people who happened to be Jewish on lists in order to send their mobs out to go and knock on their door and drag them out, and we know what happened.
But there was no law then.
That's, I mean, again, that's why we don't do that.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm trying to point out is, I think this thing, at some point, we should take it serious, but the more we report about it, we're going to find out so much weirdness from these people, like so many stupid things.
Well, they'll expose themselves. They will be exposed, and that's something to look forward to. But from a legal standpoint, the judge in Staten Island, Lydia, said that there would be a temporary restraining order and another hearing on August 31st. So they wouldn't be able to move forward with this program as they rolled it out. And then, of course, the city immediately filed an appeal to that. And so my question is, where do you think it goes from here? And I also want to point out that one of the plaintiffs is a self-professed Mamdani voter, okay? And he was erroneously put on the list, and he was part of this lawsuit because what I think people are shocked by, even his own base, is that you came for me? I got entangled in this snare?
It's I mean, lesson to be learned there, right? I mean, his policies are not discriminating in the fact that if you have any type of property or money, he wants what he thinks is his fair share of it. Whether you voted for him or not, no one's going to be exempt, and that's bad news for everybody in New York City. There are other people that are roped up into this, and the Wall Street Journal is talking about a Brooklyn couple who'd lived in their home for something like 40 some odd years. Paying it off, and they still got a notice. A lot of questions about this and whether it moves forward. The due process issue is one, the fact that you have to prove that you've lived in your home. But there's a whole issue about the valuation of the property, too, that is going to lead to a whole host of litigation. What I think is really interesting, too, is the politics of this. Kathy Hochul was all against the wealth tax in New York City, but she was totally on board with the pied-à-terre tax. Actually helped get it passed over the finish line. But now that we have this botched rollout, she's really quick to try to distance herself from the botched rollout. And the message to Kathy Hochul ought to be, oh, no. If you don't like what's happening now with the rollout of all this, that is your problem, too. So she needs to get swept up in all of this.
We have her soundbite. Can we play that?
I'm sorry. If you have a $5 million second home, you're doing pretty good. I think that's the reality here. We're glad you found a home in New York City. We thought that this was the line in the sand that would say there's an understanding that this is a measure of substantial success, which we are happy to host here in New York City, but these are second homes.
How about a $1 million?
$5 million second homes.
Brian?
There's an
sorry, I know you're writing, but come
understanding,
on.
she says.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree with something Charlie said, though I know what you're saying. I don't think this was a rookie mistake. I don't think doing this, and it's for the same reason that David said, historically speaking, communists and socialists love intimidation. That's what they do. Now, they can say, well, gee, you know, sorry about that, we'll fix it. But they knew exactly what they were doing. They put everybody on notice, and not just their traditional opponents, because Sia Weaver, his housing person, said this when she got in. She said everyone's going to have to reimagine their relationship with private property, and she included all of the minorities and everybody else that they said they were fighting for. She included them in that because at the end of the day, nobody gets spared from the ideology. And now everybody in New York City knows that.
What she said actually was, it'll get some minorities, but be mostly white people, so don't worry about it. I mean, that's kind of what she said. And I will say this.
Well, she said private property is an extension of white privilege.
Right. But
that's
she also mentioned that
she
mentioned that sort of confiscation would affect white people.
She said confiscation would affect everybody.
Well, she said some minorities. So it's some minorities. And by the way, for condos, I think the number is 1 million, not 5 million.
That's correct.
It's not huge in New York.
But when they pitched it, they said 5 million. They never said anything about 1 million.
Yeah, so
that was a lie.
I still think this is botched because I think he missed governance 101 or, in his Africana studies
David,
department.
I want to ask you what you think of the gentleman in the lawsuit who was the Mamdani voter, but then was mad that they came after him erroneously. That kind of goes to what we were talking about in the last block. It's like people don't realize necessarily what they're voting for until it bites them in the you-know-what.
Well, I covered Latin America for 12 years. I remember a lot of the communists down there started out by saying, we're not communists. In fact, Fidel Castro was on a Meet the Press interview right after he took power. He said, I'm anti-communist. I'm not a communist. I mean, and then he went on and did everything that he did. In fact, a lot of people in Nicaragua, when they were trying to get rid of the Somoza dictatorship, bought into the Sandinistas' claims, the same claims, that they were not communists, that they didn't have any Marxist. Once they came into power, once they solidified power, they announced to all of the people on the inside, and I know some of those people who were there when they announced, it can now be said, we are Marxists, and this country is going to become a Marxist-Leninist state. Same thing happened down in Chile when Allende, who claimed to be one of these Democrat socialists, got into power. Fidel Castro went down there and told him, and this is documented by people who were in the room, said, I know you're a communist, you know you're a communist, but nobody else has to know you're a communist. Now, they're big. I would say one part of what you said I agree with, Charlie, which is they came out too soon. This DSA co-chair, the woman with those big red glasses that was on Fox News Sunday, she said, they're coming out now and saying it. And there are some things that we get from Piker's history, et cetera, where it's clear. And his Mao suit was one indication, talking about how Mao Zedong, maybe he went a little too far. Maybe killing 50 million was too much. Would have been better if it was 30 or 40 million. I mean, they're saying these things now that are coming out clear early on enough so that hopefully those people who are going to be voting, the biggest bloc that I'm interested in, the independents that are going to be voting in November, they will see that these people are hardcore communists. They want to steal your homes. They want to steal all of the private property you've worked your whole life in order to get. They want to get rid of the Pentagon, get rid of defense. They don't care at all about national defense. And I mean, they want essentially everything that the communist countries
want to open the borders. I mean, it's really pathetic if you go down the line.
This wealth tax is basically wealth confiscation and trying to get people who are innocent in the snare by missing deadlines. It takes it to a whole new level.